The big bad Beetle Queen stands in front of a tied-up team of 4 adventurers, expounding on her plans for the way she intends to kill them. First, she'll have the beetle swarm devour their legs up to the knee. Then she'll let the wounds fester to better feed the grubs that will inhabit their bodies, eating them from the inside out until they're just husks of decay that will bear the new swarm. There's a beat, and then someone clears their throat. "I want to seduce the Beetle Queen," says the Bard's player, looking the DM directly in the eye. The DM pinches the bridge of his nose. "It's impossible. Even if I roll a natural 20 on my persuasion?" The DM's face falls like ash from a cigarette. "Fine, fine! You get married and become the Beetle King, and have weird beetle babies and rule the Beetle Kingdom." Okay, actually, seriously though, there's a perception in D&D that seduction is the sort of be-all, end-all solution for high charisma type characters. And I'm not here to argue as to whether or not the bard should seduce literally everything, but I do want to call into question the fact that there's really only one mechanics-supported way to roll dice for seduction, and that's to make a charisma-based skill check. Most of the time it'd be 1d20, plus your charisma bonus, plus your proficiency modifier to use as a persuasion roll, as an opposed roll against the target's insight check. Depending on how your DM rules this may be all that you need to seduce this person. And now, to what end this may lead is also completely up to the way that your game rolls, but it would end to the opponent's emotional status vis-a-vis your character radically changing. You might be able to get more info from them because you're buddy-buddy now, or escape imprisonment, or, well, more, let's say, private things that fade to black. But in real life, every person is into different stuff. So the figure skater who's really into Mozart will maybe not be so inclined to be seduced by the death metal guitarist with the extreme body modifications, no matter how charming each of them are. No, in real life, to attract a person's attention or even lust, you must appeal to something about that person. And to that end, I propose a system. How about this? Each creature in the game has a set of statistics. Barring the unlikely occurrence that every stat in that collection is the exact same number or set of 2 numbers, the high likelihood is that there is at least one stat that is higher or lower than the others. For those stats, there are generally skills attached to them that could be used in a seductive manner. For instance, if the target's got a low strength and a high intelligence, then a show of athletics may impress them, and a show of history, for instance, may give them something to relate to. If they have all 10s, except for that one score that's a 14, then appealing to that one single outlier score will probably get you better results than just being charming in general, I guess. So, here's how I propose this system work. Check the stat block of the creature being seduced and identify the highest and lowest scores, if they exist. And if no outliers like that exist, or if there's a tie, then you can roll a d6 to identify the highest and lowest. Then, the player trying to seduce them must make a choice of what skill they will use to try to impress or relate to their target. If they choose a skill that matches one of the high or low abilities of their target, then the opposed roll that that target makes is made at a -4. Otherwise, the roll is made just normally. For example, let's say Barmaid Elise has a high wisdom, low constitution, and Trent the fighter, attempting to gain her affections, takes stock of what she's said and done so far, and decides to make an attempt at impressing her with his insight, which is wisdom. He leans back and as she passes by makes a sort of remark to her in a Sherlock Holmesy fashion that gives her pause, and she looks to respond in kind. Trent makes his insight check, and Elise responds with her own insight check, but at -4 because he's appealing to her strong stat. This system makes it such that anyone with a decent charisma score can still be charming and seductive all they like, but if you really want to have your best chances at the act of seduction, you're better off trying to figure something else about the person beforehand. You know, like in real life. I like this idea because it allows for the bard to be the bard still, but it will make a more interesting role-playing scenario when anyone tries to gain the favor of another person. I mean, thinking about it in real life, if I just went up to someone and said, hey, you look really cute, we should date, even if I'm the most charming person that I've ever met, the chances that that's gonna work are pretty low. But if I went up to somebody and I said, hey, I noticed that earlier you were reading this book, clever literary allusion to the thing that you were reading, we should get some coffee sometime, that is gonna work way more often than just the cold call, hey, we should date. So, thinking about the way that things work in real life and relating them to Dungeons and Dragons is my new hobby, I guess. But I like that idea. I like the idea that you can use your perception, use your wisdom, use the ability to gather information about a person by watching, by listening, by interacting with them, and then use what you know about them to gain some sort of advantage on your seduction check towards them. Get to know somebody, buy them a drink, buy them dinner, see if you can't find out through context clues what kind of high and low stats you think they might have, and then try to appeal to them. It would make things really easy if, for instance, you were talking to somebody and they said, oh, I just love strong men. Then you'd be like, oh, okay, I see how this works. I will lift the heavy thing and then turn over and do finger guns. And maybe that works, but maybe they just like strong people. If it's not appealing to the things that are part of them, then you don't get that extra little advantage that they have to make their resist seduction roll at that -4. I really like this idea, and I think it would be fun, so I'm going to implement it in my game, and I'll tell you how it works. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this. It's just kind of an idea that I had tumbling around in my head that my good friend Cameron and my roommate Austin, who you've seen before on my camera, we talked about for a little while the other day, and we said, hey, wouldn't it be neat if there was just a different way to do the thing? So, we're gonna give it a shot. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, the like and subscribe buttons are waiting just below this video. You should click on those. If you've already clicked on both of them, then good for you, you're ahead of the curve. You can also push that stupid bell icon, because apparently that's the only way to keep updated on whether or not somebody's doing a thing, even if you're subscribed to them. Thanks, YouTube. I would appreciate it. I've got social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. God, I've been making so many stupid TikTok videos. But you can follow me there if you feel like it. And that's pretty much it for now. I will catch you guys next time.